everyone, it's Ruby. I hope that you all are doing well. Today I have another Ask Ruby Q&A video, but this one is a little bit more specific. So on my Instagram, where I always ask for my Q&A questions, I asked for questions specifically about the college application process and applying to art schools. So because the college audition process for me is so fresh in my mind, in fact my final college audition was today here in New York City, I thought it would be a lot easier to answer these questions now rather than like 4 years or a year down the road, because right now it's still super fresh in my mind. And then I also got a few random questions because my Ask Ruby Q&A videos usually are for like any type of question, so I decided I would save those for last. Without further ado, let's just get right into the Q&A video, and like I said, if you all would like to be featured in my next Ask Ruby Q&A video, then go ahead and give me a follow on my Instagram, the link is down below. Did you actually make it through the process alive, or have you joined me with the fallen? Surprisingly enough, I did make it through the process alive. I had 11 college auditions, or 10. I think 10 auditions. But yes, I am alive. I actually had a lot of fun with the college audition process because for me, I really love auditioning. I don't really look at it as, oh my god, somebody's judging me. I look at it as, this is a time that I can show my talents, and if you don't like me, that's okay because I like me. I feel like this is a very important question. How do I adult? Well, to be quite honest, I'm not even technically an adult myself. I'm still only 17. However, my best advice for transitioning from that teenage phase into adulthood and transferring from high school to college is to just go in with an open mind and know that change is inevitable. From looking at it from the outside, change can seem incredibly scary, but it's also so incredibly exciting. So honestly, just go at it with an open mind and know that things are going to change, but that's okay. And I'm a firm believer in the fact that everything happens for a reason, so just know that every single change that you're about to go through is happening for a reason. How many schools did you apply to, and did you apply to a lot of safeties? So like I said, I believe I applied to 10 schools. As far as safety schools, I really didn't apply to any. The situation is kind of interesting because I knew from like day one when I was like 5 years old, I knew that I wanted to go to college in New York for the performing arts, and because of that, because I was only interested in applying to schools here in Manhattan, I knew that every school that I was looking at was going to be an elite and highly selective school. So I guess my safety net in a sense was the fact that I did apply to so many schools, because even though all of them are so elite, I knew that one at least had to accept me. I've been lucky enough though, however, that I have been accepted so far into every single school that I applied to, which is very exciting. So far, I'm 6 for 6. Of course, I'm still waiting on like 4 more letters, but so far it's been very exciting. What are you intending on majoring/minoring in, and what was the audition process like? So for those who don't know, I intend on majoring in musical theater with also an emphasis on drama as well. Musical theater and theater have always both just been so incredibly important to me, and honestly I'm applying to a lot of musical theater conservatories, and with that comes a lot of straight drama training as well. And I knew that even though I wanted to primarily focus on musical theater, I still wanted my acting training as well, and so that was something that was really important to me, that every school I applied to kind of incorporated both into their musical theater curriculum. As far as what the audition process was like, it really does depend on every single school and their requirements. So for some, I only had to do a monologue and a song. For others, I had to learn 3 dances, perform 2 monologues, do a cold reading, and perform 2 songs. So it really just depends on the specific school and what the requirements are on their website. How do you find a good monologue for your college auditions? I will admit I definitely have a knack for finding great monologues, and a lot of my friends kind of want to know how that can happen to them, and my biggest advice is just to read plays constantly. You're never really going to find good monologues in monologue books, because oftentimes those monologues are written by individual playwrights and they're not usually from published plays, and for auditions they usually want you to come in with a monologue from a published play. Now if you have a monologue book filled with monologues from published plays, that's an entirely different story, but for the most part, honestly, what I do is I just read plays all the time. I would say that I probably read 1 to 2 plays a week, and that's not because like I'm a theater nerd. I mean, I am a theater nerd, but it's also because I just want to stay up to date with what material is out there and what material is good for me. Which brings me to kind of my second point of this question, which is know your type. I have so many friends who audition with monologues that may be great monologues in general, but they're not good for them, and that's because they just really don't know their type, or they're not willing to acknowledge that they fit into a certain type. Marketing yourself as a performer and as an actor or actress is knowing your type and knowing what you can be marketable for. So really, really knowing your type, I feel like I've said type so many times in this sentence, really knowing your type will just kind of help you narrow down what monologues work for you. So remember, when looking at monologues, yes, it may be great writing, yes, it may be a great subject, yes, it may be by a great playwright, but if you can't see yourself specifically playing that role, either because it's not age appropriate or because you don't really fit the characteristics of that character, then just skip it. What's it like auditioning for schools like Tisch or the American Academy of Dramatic Arts? Is it tough, intense, stressful? What type of monologue should you choose? So for those who don't know, two of the schools that I did audition for were NYU Tisch and the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. So far, I haven't heard back from Tisch because they do their admissions and acceptance letters in April. However, I have already been accepted into the American Academy. So let's talk about auditioning for both of those schools. Both of them are very elite. Both of them are very, very well known. So going into the process, it can be very, very easy to kind of feel intimidated. In a way, yes, it is intense. You have to do your homework before going in. You have to kind of know what they're looking for. You have to have material that you feel confident using. But at the end of the day, all you can do is just walk in and be yourself. Art and what is defined as talent is completely subjective. So when you walk into an audition, know that if you don't get accepted into the school, it's not because they don't like you and it's not because you're not good. It just means you're not a right fit for their environment. So know, just by being at that audition and just by walking into the room and saying, "Hi, this is who I am," you are showing so much bravery and so much courage, and you should just be so proud of yourself. As far as what monologues to choose and what material to choose, again, it really comes down to what you identify with. I wouldn't try and pick monologues or songs that you think the school will like, because at the end of the day, you really can't see what they're gonna like. But for me, I just chose material that I have a personal connection to, or I felt like I truly, truly shined when I sung this song or performed this monologue. And kind of based on my acceptance letters so far, that seemed to really, really help. Also, if you're choosing to audition for kind of a higher caliber arts or theater school, I would also really say do your homework. Know who wrote the monologue or the play that the monologue is from. Know your character's background. Know what happens before and after your monologue, because I've seen so many of my friends who go into a college audition, perform their monologue or sing their song, and the adjudicator who is at the table says, "That's great. What is that from?" Or, "Do you know what you're singing or speaking about?" And I've had friends who just froze, and it really kind of threw their audition. Have you decided where you're going yet? So like I said, I have not decided where I'm going yet. I've received 6 acceptance letters so far. I'm waiting to hear back from the other 4. A lot of people have been asking me what my top school is, and honestly, my top has just always been to be in New York City. New York City is the center of musical theater and live theater and the performing arts, in my opinion, and so this has always been the place that I've known I wanted to permanently reside for college and after college. So all the schools that I'm applying to are all fantastic, and I'm really excited to kind of see which one I choose to make my true home. But no, I haven't decided where I'm going yet. How many tears will you cry for every $1 of tuition debt? As funny as this question is, this kind of brings me to another topic, because another person also asked me if I'm going to be taking out any student loans for college. I feel incredibly lucky and incredibly blessed to be able to say that I have received very generous scholarships from every single school that I have applied to. And so because of that, mixed with a little bit of a college tuition fund that I do have, it looks like I won't be having to take out any student loans. However, if you do have to pay student loans, I understand that I am not the majority, and there is nothing wrong with having to take out student loans at all. Just make sure that you know what that comes with, and you know that you will eventually have to pay those back, and just kind of start getting a plan set up and a plan in place for how you plan to do that. Have you received any scholarships from the schools that you've applied to? I kind of answered this in the last question, but yes, I have received scholarships so far from every single school that I've applied to, due to both my academic and my artistic achievements, if that makes any sense. For my underclassmen watching, or for my people who are kind of still in the early process of deciding what they want to do college-wise, this is why I say it is so good to have a good GPA and have a lot of like extracurricular activities on your resume because it really does help scholarship-wise. Okay, so those are all of the questions kind of college and art school related. So now we're gonna get into kind of the more random questions. Who is your favorite fictional character? I don't know, anybody in like the Harry Potter movies? I'm such a Harry Potter nerd. I love those movies. Either that or, okay, if any of you guys know this character, I will literally love you forever, but in like the old like Barbie Fairytopia movies, I think they were, there was this little blue like fuzzy guy and his name was Bibble, and I used to love Bibble. But if any of you guys know who I'm talking about, you're the real MVPs. Have you ever done an accent before, and if so, what's your favorite accent to do? So because I am an actress, yes, I do know how to do quite a few accents. My best accents are probably a Brooklyn dialect and an English accent. I'm actually really good at various types of English accents. I can do a very upper class accent, I can do a very lower class accent, and I can also do kind of just a standard like middle class English accent. I've actually been hired to do my English accent just because it is quite good for an American, or at least I've been told. And then Brooklyn dialect, I've done quite a few scenes and projects where I've had to use that, and it's definitely been helpful always living part-time in New York because it's just something that I've always been able to pick up very easily. Oh, I can also do a great Southern accent. And then as far as other accents that I've been working on, I've been working on an Australian accent, a Scottish accent, an Irish accent, and a French accent. They're not perfect yet, but they're getting there. What have been your pros and cons with attending your high school? So for those who don't know, I do go to a performing arts school. I'm gonna be graduating this May, which is like absolutely insane. But I would definitely say the pros have been having an artistic curriculum worked into my schedule every single day has just been absolutely incredible, and it's just made me enjoy high school so much more. And honestly, I'm really lucky to be able to say that I really haven't had any cons with my school. I feel very lucky that I have loved high school as much as I have. But the one con that I would say is that it's not like a college in the sense that theater is kind of all you study. You also have like your gen ed classes as well, which you do have in some theater schools as well, but like conservatory wise, you really don't. I do understand though that in high school you have to take your academic classes, obviously, and your academic classes are very important. However, I just wish it could be theater all day, every day. Best audition songs for different age divisions. Honestly, there is no true perfect audition song. It really just depends on you and what makes you shine. I would say, however, stay away from overdone musical theater songs, which you can usually find a list if you kind of Google it. For kids, I would say maybe stay away from Annie, maybe stay away from Pulled by the Addams Family, maybe stay away from Little Red Riding Hood songs from Into the Woods. All of those are great songs, but they're just really overdone in an audition room. But even if you feel like you truly shine doing one of those overdone musical theater songs and you do it in a way that sets you apart from the crowd, then go for it. That, you guys, wraps up all of my questions for this Ask Ruby Q&A. I think that this one's going to be a little longer only because I kind of went more in depth with the questions and the answers, but I really hope that you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a big thumbs up to let me know that you would like to see more Q&A videos on my channel. Please subscribe and help me grow the Ruby Rocks the World family. It would mean the world to me. Follow me on all my social media networks. Links are always in the down bar below. I hope that you guys are having an awesome day, night, afternoon, whenever you all are watching this, and I will talk to you all in my next video. Okay, bye guys.